So how is your assignment going? Are you gonna finish your chapter 1 by like Monday?
Yes, I'm finishing.
Very good. So how are the questions? Are they difficult for you, or it's okay, or too easy?
I had some difficulties with one of the questions. It was on page 7. The last question, I think I and J.
Okay. Let's do like this, Shahina. Let's start our class. Okay. So as I told you, for example, as you see, everything is organized very well, right? That is exercise 1A, 1B, 1C, all right? So if you have any difficulty or you don't understand the question or you solve it but you are not sure if you use the right method or if your solution is correct, just put a question mark or take a note. For example, exercise 1A, question 2C, for example. Okay, or exercise 1C, question 5D, for example. Okay, if you just tell me, or one day earlier, if you just send it as a message, okay, Mr. Qasim, these questions I am not sure, or I couldn't solve, or I find them a bit difficult. Can we do them together? Then I will just prepare the questions. We can discuss them together. Okay? I will answer your questions, but maybe the last 15 minutes. All right. So now, last time we started chapter 2. It was about algebraic equations and simple inequalities. And I'm sure, I hope, actually, based on my experience, as you solve more and more problems, things will get easier and easier for you. It's like sharpening your knife, right? Every question you solve, that means that you're just sharpening your knife. As your actual knife gets sharper and sharper, you can just cut everything easily, right? So that is what we are doing here. And you should not be scared of any question. How can we actually get rid of our fear? By solving more and more questions. And I hope maybe after 2 or 3 months, when you look at the question, you say, I know how to do this. Immediately the idea comes. And also you can just visualize, you just close your eyes. This problem is a word problem, it's about this. You can make connection between variables. That is what we are trying to reach, but it takes time. Maybe after 3 or 4 months later, I hope you will actually, the way you think, the way you solve the problems, it will be quite different from your students. And hopefully also the math that you're going to take at school, it will be very easy for you. I mean, easy for you means that you can understand things much faster and very easily, all right? But now you have to read the question, right? Sometimes you don't understand. So we are trying to overcome these difficulties, okay? But by time we will do this, all right? So let's just have a look quickly what we did last time. So we talked about formula, right? If you are given a formula, now we know how to evaluate its value by substituting the values of the variable in the formula. And we did this example. It's about the volume of a cuboid. And after that, example 11, and construction of formula, right? We practiced a few questions here. And also we did all the questions in exercise 7E, right? You remember, right? These solutions.
Yeah.
Very good. So we stopped here. Okay, so we will continue from here, and after that we focus on solving word problems now. Word problems means problems involving algebra or variables or algebraic fractions. Okay, simply we call this problems. Okay, so let me keep it a bit away. Let's continue from here. It says that the total cost, $T of D chairs, or we are buying T chairs at the shop at P each, and C tables at Q each. All right. So you go to the shop and you're going to buy D chairs. I don't know how many. That's why we are using variable here. And we know that also the individual price of the chair is, you are just guessing, let's say this P dollars, and also you are buying C tables, and each table costs Q dollars. If it is so, then how can I write the total cost of this thing? All right. So what is it? it is D times P, right? Because we have like, if you're buying 5 chairs, each one is, let's say, $10, so total amount is 5 times 10, $50. If you're buying C, 3 tables, each one is like, let's say, $20, 3 times 20, that's $60. And we have to just add them up, right, to get the total amount or total cost. So here we have D times P. So in algebra, we don't have to write multiplication. When I say DP, we know that it is multiplied by each other. Plus, and for tables, how much do we pay? C times Q. And here we have everything in dollars. That is the total cost of D chairs at P dollars each and C tables at Q dollars each, right?
Oh, I see.
Okay, next question, J. A car travels X kilometers per hour. That is the speed or average speed of the car for P kilometers and makes another journey at Y kilometers per hour for Q kilometers. Okay, so what is this thing? That is speed, right? This one is speed. Let's say this S sub 1, or let me just write S. Okay. So here, this one is distance, right? For another journey, and this one is speed, and this one is distance, right? That means that actually a guy, maybe from home, in the morning, he went to his school, here he has school, right? And after that, after school, he visited his uncle's house. Maybe uncle's house is somewhere here, right? So this distance is given from A to B. The distance is how many kilometers? It is P kilometers. And at what speed did he travel this distance? He traveled at this speed, right? That is X kilometers per hour, right? And here the same thing, the distance is Q kilometers. And he traveled this road at what speed? It is Y kilometers per hour. Okay, now we should just imagine this one. This was something like this. All right, the question, the total distance, R kilometers the car travels. All right, here I. What is the total distance here? That he traveled the whole day. Total distance is R kilometers, right? That's equal to what? From A to B, it is P kilometers. From B to C, he traveled Q kilometers. So the total distance is P plus Q kilometers. Is it right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but the second question is a little bit harder. It says find the formula. Okay, for the average speed of for the average speed. Okay, and what is average speed? Let's say it is S. Average speed is total distance traveled over total time taken, or total time elapsed, or elapsed time. Okay, so that is because we know that distance formula. What is the distance formula? Distance equals speed times t. Are you familiar with this formula?
No.
The speed, for example, let's say you are walking from point A, from your house to the shopping mall, let's say B, okay? The distance is, let's say, 100 meters. All right, that's the distance.
Oh, yeah.
And yes, speed is actually every minute you are walking like, not every minute, every second. If you are walking like 2 meters, right, per second, two meters per second, right? And how long does it take? Every second you are covering 2 meters, right? Every second. So that means that how many seconds does it take? It is 50, because 2 times 50 is 100. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is a distance formula, Shahina. This distance means average speed times time, right? So now from this formula, how can we find t? Well, then what is t from this formula? What is t? T equals distance over time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good. So now let's answer the question. It says that find the formula for the average speed. Okay, the average speed. So that means that average speed definition is total distance traveled divided by total time taken. So average speed, let's denote this with as total distance. What is the total distance from A to B, from B to C, right? So we have already answered that question. Total distance traveled is P plus Q. That's why they ask here total distance. So here we have total distance is P plus Q. And how about time? How about time? Shahina, this question is for you. From A to B, if the distance is P kilometers and the speed is X kilometers per hour, so what is the time that he traveled from A to B at X kilometers per hour? Can you find the time? How many hours did he spend to travel from A to B?
So,
Let me just write here time from A to B. That is T. What is time? Using this formula, right? Distance over T. So what is the distance here? It is P.
P.
Over. And how about the speed? X kilometers. And because you can use any letter, right, how to say, denote the unknown here. For speed, sometimes we use S. If you want sometimes X, Y, doesn't matter. But just you should know that what it means. Here, this X represents the speed, right, that he traveled from A to B. So according to this formula, distance over time. So our distance here is P and speed is X. So this gives us time taken from to actually travel from A to B. So here total time from A to B, how many hours did he spend? We got it here, right? Okay, now here I got it. That's P over X. Plus, now we need to find the time. How many hours did he spend to travel from B to C? The distance is Q, speed is Y. Again, use this formula. How many hours did he spend?
Q divided by Y.
Q divided by Y. Q divided by Y. So that is the average speed. You know, it looks a bit weird, but this is how we find it. Actually, if they are given in numbers, you can just substitute here and simplify, right? We can do that. But here, everything is variable. What we are trying to understand here is if some actually, how to say, conditions are given here or information, we are trying to describe this by using the equation. Is it an equation formula? Yes, right? So what is it for? This is just showing us how these things are related to each other. This P and Q and X and Y. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, that's easy question for you. Shahina, read the problem.
How many days are there in A? 5 weeks. B and
Okay. First, let's answer question A. How many days are there in 5 weeks?
5 times 7 is 35, so that's 35 days.
1 week has 7 days, so that is 5 times 7. That is 35 days. Very good. Now, next question. Now, how many days are there in n weeks?
N times 7.
N times 7. That is 7 times n, right? Because A times B equals B times A, right? And also always we need to write the number in front of the variable. We call this coefficient. So we have 7n days, right? In n weeks, we have 7n days. Very good. Let's move to the next question. All right, we have question A, question B, question C, question D, and the last question. All right, let's start with question A. A girl is now 10 years old. Right now, maybe this year, whatever it is. The question, how old will she be 5 years later?
10 plus 5 equals
That is 10 plus 5. That is after 5 years, she will be 15 years old. Okay, question B. So how old will she be T years later?
10 plus T.
That is 10 plus T years, right? So she will be 10 plus T years. All right, C. How old was she 3 years ago?
10 minus 3.
10 minus 3, that is, she was 7 years old, right? And the last question, D, X years ago.
10 minus X.
10 minus X. Okay, very good. Now let's answer the last question. It says that what are the possible values of X? Here we are using this X, right? The question is, what are the possible values of X? This is the first part of the question. Second part is, can X be 15? Okay, first let's answer the first question. All right, this question's answer. What are the possible values of X?
X could equal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But it can't. No. Yeah.
It can be 0. Can it be 0?
Oh, yeah. It
Can be
can.
0, right? The first possible value is possible values of X 0, because it makes sense. Because if I write here 10 minus 0, it is 10, right? It means it makes sense. All right. How about 1? Yes. How about 2? Yes. Dot, dot, dot. How about 9? Yes. How about 10? Yes. But can it be 11?
No.
No, because we do not use negative number, right, for somebody's age. That's why these are all possible values. Now we can answer the next question. Can X be 15?
No.
No. Good. All right, next question. Can you read the question?
A car travels at a speed of 55 kilometers per hour. How far will it travel in? A, 2 hours, B, T hours.
Very good. In this kind of questions, in the first step, Shahina, you need to write, sometimes I use G point, I point here, or periods. What does it mean? It means that given information. What is given here? Write it down first, okay? Then you start solving the problem. What is given here? Here the speed is given, right? So let me just write here. Speed is given. It is 55 kilometers per hour. Now I answer question A. For example, here, what else is given? How far will it travel? 2 hours. T is also given. In the first part, it is 2 hours. Now we answer the question. So how far? It means that they're asking the distance, right? So we have to find the distance. So distance, we know that is equal to speed times time, right? What is speed? 55 times 2. So here we have 55 times, we don't have to just write the units here. And here we have 2. That is equal to 110. If you multiply these two things together, this hours, they cancel each other. Let me just write here only H so that you don't get confused, right? That means hour. So here, in 2 hours, the car travels 110 kilometers if its speed is 55 kilometers per hour. Good. Now, how about question B? We know the speed, right? Time is t. Then what is the distance? It is s times t, right? And what is the speed? We know the speed, it is 55. And how about time? It is t. So that's just t, because we don't know, it's not given. So if the speed of the car is 55 kilometers per hour, and if it travels for t hours, the distance traveled during these t hours will be 55 t kilometers. Okay?
Okay.
Good. Can you read it?
If you are planning for a year, sow rice. If you're planning for a decade, plant trees. If you're planning for a lifetime, educate people.
Yeah, this is what your father is doing now, right?
Yeah.
He's not sowing rice or planting trees. He's trying to give you education. All right? He's working, earning money, and paying money to me, and I'm educating you. Who is doing this? Your father. Clever people do this because you get education you will use for the whole lifetime. Shahina, I will close this slide. Okay, I will open new one. So now we will start new topic. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Again, our topic is algebraic equations and simple inequalities. All right, what we have here now, Shahina, slowly, step by step, we will start solving problems. That is the most important thing. When you're solving equations, if you can try to solve everything, if it takes too much time, you can do one question, skip one question, all right? But this exercise, problem solving part, I suggest you to solve every problem. Even it is difficult, even it takes time, try to solve everything because it improves your problem solving skill a lot. A lot of students, they have difficulty in solving word problems, okay? Actually, if you can solve these problems, other topics will be piece of cake for you, okay?
Okay.
Good. So now we will focus on problem solving. What we did in the previous video, in the previous lesson, now we will use those ideas to solve this problem. Because now, previously, what we did, we just learned how to construct a formula, right? But we didn't solve the equation, right? We just actually form our equation and just left it like that. But now, in this part, we are going to first read the problem and understand the problem and use a suitable variable to denote the unknowns, and we need to form the equation and we have to solve it. So we have to go through a few steps, like 4 or 5 steps, and that's why solving problems is a bit challenging comparing to other topics. So one of the most powerful mathematical tools to solve problems is by using an equation and solving it. Yeah, using equation solving it means using algebra. And that's why we are learning here algebra. Algebra means using variables or letters in the alphabet, right? We just the unknowns, and after that we can find the relationship between the unknowns in the problem. That means that we form an equation. Okay, then we should solve this. Okay, we shall look at this problem solving method more closely now. All right, so let's start with a very simple example. In this example, it says that in the first part, when I subtract 3 from a number, so immediately 3 from a number, what comes to your mind here when you read this? What number comes? We don't know, right? It can be anything. So that's why a number, I don't know what number is it. So I'm going to denote this with, let's say, x, that a number, let's say it is x. So now when I subtract 3 from a number, what it means that x minus 3. We are subtracting 3 from x. Continue. The result is the same as if I had half the number. This result, what you got here, is the same as if you divided the number by 2. That means multiply by half. That is x. Here, the result is the same as if I had half the number. Okay, so we form the equation now. Now, what is the question? Find the number. Find the number means to find the number, we have to solve this equation, right? How can I solve this? Here we have x minus 3 equals, I can write this fraction as 1 times x over 2, right? And also here we have one fraction because here I have 1. We cannot see this, but we have 1. One fraction on the left, one fraction on the right. How do you solve this? Cross multiply, right? If you cross multiply, 2 goes here, 2x minus 3. 1 times x, that is x. Now we remove the brackets. So here we have 2x minus 6 equals x, right? So take x to the right hand side and x to the left hand side. 2x. Take to the left hand side becomes minus, because it's changing its sign. That's why also we need to change its sign. Negative 6 to the right hand side, it is plus 6. 2x minus x, dot, it is x. So here we have 6. So that number is 6. If you check this, 6 minus 3, 3. And what is half of 6? It is 3. Right? So that thing is left hand side equals right hand side. That means that that is the solution of the problem. We are going to solve this kind of problems now. Okay, as you see here, first you should understand the problem. All right, then first understand, read it quickly. You don't have to understand the first reading. Now read one more time, but this time maybe slowly. Try to understand everything. All right, everything means that important information in the problem. Then use a variable to denote the unknown, form your equation and solve. All right, how about the second one? Let me change my mark. Cancel color. The sum of, now we know what we mean by the sum, right? It is plus two consecutive odd numbers is 64. All right, this consecutive, that means followed by the other one, odd numbers is 64, right? So what we mean by odd numbers, these are 1, 3, 5, dot, dot. These are odd numbers, right? Consecutive means one followed by another. The 3, 5 consecutive odd numbers. 1, 3 consecutive odd numbers. Okay. Now here, all right. Here, if this number is n, Shahina, what will be the next number?
N plus 2.
N plus 2, right? And this is followed by another one, right? So these are two consecutive odd numbers. And it says that the sum of these numbers is 64. That means that n plus 2 is equal to 64. So the question is, find the two numbers. We have to find these numbers. Let's solve this. It is plus. We can just remove the parentheses here. N plus n. 2n plus 2 equals 64. Now we get an equation. Take to the right-hand side, 2n. Now you should do this mentally. 64 minus 2, it is 62. Well, from here, I can eliminate this. We should divide both sides by 2. So n equals 62 over 2, which is equal to 31. So I got the value of n. Now I can write the answer because we need to find the two numbers, right? They are asking the two numbers. If I know n, I can find the second number. So the first number is 31, and the second number is 31 plus 2. That is 33. Okay? All right, that is a short introduction. So we are going to solve these kind of problems in this lesson. Okay, first, Shahina, before again solving the problem, let's practice how to form the equation. Until that part is difficult. Once you get the equation, solving is much easier than understanding or modeling the problem. Okay, here we are just going to write the equation. You just tell me, I'm going to write it here. Okay. All right, in each of the following, let x denote the unknown. All right, so derive an equation involving x. Okay, now that's the question. Read the first question.
When a certain number is increased by 7, the result is 18.
All right, so a certain number, do we know this?
No, so that's
No,
going to be x.
so I'm going to use x for this. That certain number, let it be x. Okay, so is increased by 7. What does it mean?
Addition.
7 is added to this, right? Okay, your father gives Monday your pocket money $10, and next week he says that, look, Shahina, this week you study very hard. I am going to increase your pocket money by $5. What does it mean? He's going to give you $5 more, right? So it is $10 now plus $5. So you are going to get $15 for this Monday. Increase means we are adding, right? So here, that means that here we have x, that is increased by 7, that is x plus 7, and the result is 18. So this result is 18. So we are talking about this equation here. Okay? Okay, read the next problem.
When a number is decreased by 2 and the result is multiplied by 3, the final result is 24.
Okay, so now not increased, now it is decreased, right? And a number, do we know this number? We don't know. So let's say this number is x. Now tell me, what equation should I write here for this problem?
X subtracted by 2.
Not subtracted by 2. 2 is subtracted from x, right?
Oh.
Minus 2.
Minus 2. Times 3.
And the result is multiplied by 3. So this is a result. So I should multiply the whole thing by 3, right? And the result is 24. The whole result is now it is 24. Okay? So we are given a number. I don't know what number it is. That's why a number. First, we decrease this number by 2. So that is x minus 2. And the result is multiplied by 3. So here we multiply by 3. And the result, final result is 24. So the whole result is 24. Okay?
Okay.
Read question C.
When 5 is subtracted from a certain number and the result multiplied by 7, the final result is 63.
Okay. Again, as you see here, a certain number. We don't know this number, right? So let's say it is x. Now tell me, what equation should I write for this problem?
Let's see. 5 minus x.
No, 5 is subtracted from x.
Oh, x minus 5.
So that's x minus 5. And result multiplied by 7. Right? This is the result we got here now. Yeah. So this result is multiplied by 7. And final result is 63. So the final result is 63. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Read the next problem.
When a certain number is subtracted from 24 and rest divided by 5, the final result is 4.
Good. Again, when a certain number is subtracted from 24, so this is a certain number, we don't know, because if I ask what number is it, it can be anything, right? So that's why we are using x for this. So this number is subtracted from 24. So that is 24 minus x. And the result is divided by 5. So this the result is divided by 5. The final result is 4. So the final result is 4. Okay? Question E.
The sum of 3 consecutive numbers is 63.
Okay. The sum of 3 consecutive numbers. What are these consecutive numbers? We are talking about this 1, 2, 3, or 3, 4, 5, or 5, 6, 7, or if it is the first number is n, the second number is n plus 1, third number is n plus 2. So what consecutive numbers we are talking about here, I don't know. That's why we are assuming that the first number is n. Since these numbers are consecutive, next number should be n plus 1. Next number should be n plus 2. So the sum of these 3 consecutive numbers, so we are talking about these numbers, right? So their sum is n plus 1 plus n plus 2 is equal to 63. Right, now we can simplify this. N plus n, that is 3n. 1 plus 2, that is plus 3, that is equal to 63. That is our equation that describes this problem. Okay? All right, read question F.
One number is bigger than the other number by 3, and the sum of these two numbers is 43.
Okay, one number is bigger than the other number by 3. Do we know this number? One number?
No. So
We don't know. So let's say this number is x. Okay. And the sum of these numbers is equal to 43. Okay, here we have the first number, x, plus, here we have the second number, and the sum equals 43. Okay. So what is given here? It says that this number, that one number, is bigger than the other by 3. If the first number is, the bigger number is x, what will be the smaller number?
minus 3.
X minus 3, right? Because if this number is 10, 10 minus 3, this is 7. Is 7, 3 less than 10? Yes, right? Because 10 minus 3 is 7. If this number is 20, 20 minus 3, this number is 17. So their difference is 3. Bigger than the other number by 3 means this number's difference is 3. Okay? So if this number is x, this one is x minus 3. Now if you simplify this, x plus x, 2x minus 3 is equal to 43. Now we are not asked to solve this question here, so we don't have to continue. Just we have to write the problem, equation here. Read question G.
6 times a certain number is 16 more than twice the number.
Okay. Can you do it?
I think so.
Yeah, tell me your answer. I'll write it down here.
X times 6 plus 6, wait, plus 16. Wait, hold on. Plus 16 more than times 2. I think that's
And
let me see. 6 times a certain number is 16 more than twice the number. This is really confusing.
all right, let's do it together. Here is saying that 6 times of a certain number. Good. A certain number we don't know. Let's say it is x. 6 times a certain number is 6x. Is means it means equal, right? Is 16 more than twice the number. What is this number? It is x. Twice the number, it is 2 times. So this 6 times the number is 16 more than this number. That means that it is 2x. If you add 16 to twice this number, then we will get 6x, because this number is greater than this, right? By how much? By 16.
I get it now.
Good. Let's do these 2 questions, and after that you'll have break, okay?
Okay.
All right, read question H.
The length of a rectangle is 5 meters more than its width, and the perimeter of the rectangle is 32 meters.
Okay. Shahina, this kind of questions is about some kind of geometry or distance, formula, something. Immediately you need to draw a picture, all right? Since we are talking about a rectangle, draw a rectangle, small rectangle, just to understand, to visualize this thing. Okay, now the length of a rectangle is 5 meters more than its width. Do we know its width? We don't know, right? What is the width of this rectangle? We don't know. So let's say it is x. So let's say this width of this rectangle is x. Then what will be its length? Here it says that the length of a rectangle is 5 meters more. That's longer. So that's here we have x plus 5. And also that's the length, because opposite sides are equal. Here we have x plus 5. And the perimeter of the rectangle is 32. Now, how do you find the perimeter? Perimeter means the sum of all this length, right? That means that it is 2 times length plus width. This is how we evaluate perimeter, because this is length plus length plus width plus width. 2 width, 2 length, 2 is a common factor. That's why we are here, is here. Now we should substitute here. That's 32 actually. But now I should substitute everything, write everything in terms of x. So here we have 2 times length, x plus 5, and width, it is x. On the right hand side, we have 32. Okay, that's all. I can continue now. I can simplify this. But here, you are asked to write this thing. Okay? So that is the equation that describes this problem. Now, the length of a rectangle is twice its width. So immediately we are talking about rectangle. Let's draw our rectangle. And it says that twice its width. And immediately we should ask, what is its width? I don't know. Let's say it is x. Then if its width is x, this is x, it says that the length of a rectangle is twice. It means 2 times. So length should be 2 times x. Here it should be 2 times x. By using again this formula, what is the perimeter? It is 2 times length. What is the length? 2x. So here I should write here 2x plus width. What is the width of this rectangle? It is x. And that is equal to, perimeter is 54. So on the right hand side, we have 54. So we actually are asked to write this equation. Okay. All right, Shahina, 10-minute break. Okay. After 10 minutes, we'll continue. Have some rest.
Okay.